with a little music in the background. I'm just going to list off the names of the 20 skaters that are coming up in the 10 pairings. I'll introduce them as each pairing is headed to the start line, but Hobbs Holzer, Matthias Baith, Max Halleck, Zachary Lacroix, Hubert Marcotte, Paul Kader, Cedric Brunet, Charles-Emile Gelné-Dion, Tyson Langlar, Joshua Tellison, Anders Johnson, Connor Howe, Frank Roth, Antoine Gelné-Bouillot, Cooper Eamon, Christopher Fiola, Laurent Dubreuil, Gilmore Junior, Jacob Graham, and Alex Boisvert-Lacroix. In that order, up in 6 minutes. In case you might be wondering, the makeup of the Canadian skaters, which provinces they're from, and the 20 men that are competing, 3 are from British Columbia, 9 are from Alberta, 1 is from Manitoba, 6 are from Quebec, and 1 is from Nova Scotia. In the women's, we had 2 from British Columbia, 7 from Alberta, 2 from Saskatchewan, 2 from Manitoba, and 1 from Quebec. .441. We're 4 minutes to race time for the 500-meter men's race to kick off the Canadian Long Track Championships. Following the 500-meter men's, we're going to be racing the 3,000 women's and then the 5,000 men's. The ice has been resurfaced, the ice is settling, and in case you're kind of wondering what makes fast ice, a couple of things. I'll be talking about it over the next several days, but the Olympic Oval is known as to have some of the fastest ice producing times in the world. And so what produces fast ice? Well, it starts with the ice makers and what they can control versus what they can't control. And what we can control in making fast ice is in fact the ice makers. And here at the Olympic Oval, we have some of the best ice makers in the world. In fact, they're I'm not making that up. And their expertise is world-renowned, has been sought after since the birth of the Olympic Oval since 1988. And believe it or not, the first Olympic Oval, rather the first speed skating oval, was created in 1985 in Germany. So some just short of 50 years ago. And there's now 39 ovals around the world, 39 ovals. Some have been constructed and taken down, like the one in Richmond, BC for the Vancouver Olympics, but most are constructed and have staying power. This one is 33 years old. Race time coming up in 2 minutes. Hello to everybody in the Oval, live at the Oval, listening to the music and my voice, and those on YouTube, just my voice, minutes away from some very fast skating. Race time. 2 minutes to race time. Okay, we're going to be started here in about a minute. As soon as I get the feed up, I'm watching on the YouTube live feed. I can see from my vantage point the starting area, and right now it's empty, but as soon as the skaters start line, I'm going to introduce them. Pairing number 1 in the inside lane, kicking off this 10 pairing 500-meter men's Canadian Log Track Championships. In the inside lane from Alberta, Hobbs Holzer. And in the outer lane, also from Alberta, Matthias Bathe. Okay, fast starts to start. Bathe in at a 100-meter 10.63 time. Holes are right in there at 10.72. Obviously, the first 2 top times. Battle of Alberta as they head into turn number 3. Down the straightaway they go. Bathe looks like it's going to cross the line first. It does so at a time of 37.37. Holzer crosses the line at 37.81. Setting the time for this 10 pairing. Now to the second pairing. In the inside lane from Alberta, say hello to Max Hallock. And in the outer lane, also from Alberta, Zachary Lacroix. This first 2 pairings contains all Alberta skaters, and this is a very tight race at the start. The first 100 meters, Max Hallock in at 10.16, Lacroix in at 10.17. Getting a draft off each other as they round the third and final turn into the straightaway. This is going to be a very, very close race, and the times come up. Max Hallock in at 36.54. The time to beat, Lacroix in at 36.58. That's how tight these races can be. In the third pairing of 10 pairings, in the inside lane from Quebec, Hubert Marcotte. And in the outer lane from Alberta, Paul Coder. These skaters are fast. We got Marcotte's 100 meters in at 10.12, taking the top spot for the first 100 meters. Coder is in at 10.24. If a racer starts in the inside lane in the 500 meters, they'll finish on the outer lane, and if they start on the outer, they'll finish in the inner. So Marquardt started in the inner. He's going to finish in the outer, and he's going to cross the line first at a time of 35:45. Paul Kadarian at 36:66. The time to beat Hubert Marquardt at 35:45. To the fourth pairing. In the inside, Brunet. And in the outer lane, also from Quebec, Charles-Émile Gelinas-Dion. Okay, the first 100 meters, Cedric Brunet at 9.85. Charles-Émile Gelinas-Dion at 9.87. These are the two fastest times to beat. These guys are ripping down the straightaway into turn 3 and 4. And if you have any idea how fast speed skaters are, television doesn't do it justice. You go right beside the rink, the arena, that these times are. And Brunet in at 34.97. He's happy with that time. Gelinas-Dion at 35.77. Brunet, let me say that time again. Cedric Brunet at 34.97. The time to beat. Gelinas-Dion at 35.57. In the fifth pairing, in the inside lane from Manitoba, Tyson Langlar. And in the outer lane from British Columbia, Joshua Tellison. Something the starters didn't like. We're going to do it again. Okay, let's check in on the 100-meter mark. Tellison in at 9.94, Langlar in at 10.02. We're rounding turn 3 or heading into it. Let's give a big shout out to Zachary Lacroix and for a personal best. Here they come down the straightaway. Not a lot of time for commentary. Crossing the line first is Tyson Langlar at a time of 35.17 for the second fastest time. 35.17 for Langlar. Joshua Tellison in at 35.67 for the fourth fastest time. In the sixth pairing from British Columbia in the inside lane, say hello to Anders Johnson. And in the outer lane from Alberta, Connor Howe. Okay, we're off to a nice clean start. There's the bell lap, 1 lap to go. Crossing the 100-meter mark first is Anders Johnson at 9.98. Connor the opportunity to congratulate Zachary Lacroix, Hubert Marcotte, and Cedric Brunet for achieving their personal bests. And Cedric Brunet crushed his. Congratulations, and has created the time to beat. More info later. This is a tight race. Crossing the line first, we got Connor Howe in at 35.45. Anders Johnson in at 35.54. 4 pairings to go. This is the 7th pairing of 10 in the 500-meter men's Canadian long track championships. In the inside lane from Alberta, Frank Roth. And in the outer lane from Quebec, Antoine Gélinas-Beaulieu. Okay, Frank Roth crosses the 100-meter mark at 9.79. That is the time to beat on the first 100 meters. Antoine Gélinas-Beaulieu at 10.08. These skaters are skating to qualify for the 4 World Cups that are held in Poland, Norway, United States, and Canada. We have a skater down. Starting in the outer lane was Gélinas-Beaulieu, who finishes off in the inside lane with a time of 35.07. Unfortunately, Frank Roth fell. Hope he's okay. And at this time, what we do is we do an ice check. Okay. The top time to beat while they're fixing the ice is Cedric Brunet with a time of 34.97. Absolutely knocked his personal best into next year. Congratulations, Cedric. Antoine Gélinas-Beaulieu at 35.07. Both of those are from Quebec. Tyson Langlar in the 3rd position at 35.17. Connor Housen at 35.45 for the 4th position. Hubert Marcotte in at 35.45, tied for the 4th position. And then we got Anders Johnson, Joshua Telzen, Charles-Émile Gélinas-Dion for the 8th position. Waiting for a signal to continue on the race, which would be the 8th pairing. There's 3 pairings to go. This is absolutely safe for these skaters. When they make emergency repairs like this, they use slush, and they also use pressure carbon dioxide canisters to freeze and repair these large ruts or grooves, if in fact they happen. But they want to be sure these skaters are traveling at the speed of a car down any main street in any major city at around, well, I'm dating myself if I said 35 miles an hour. That was when the other Trudeau was in power. But it's in kilometers now, but that's the speed. They are going very, very fast. I heard a whistle. Are we going? Yes, we are. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is the 8th pairing of 10. In the inside lane from Nova Scotia, Cooper Eamon. And in the outer lane from Quebec, Christopher Fiola. Okay, we got some fast times laid out on the first 100 meters. Cooper Eamon in at 9.72, the time to beat for that distance. Christopher Fuel in at 9.78. Fastest 1-2 times for the 100 meters. Here they come around the turn, heading in the fourth and final turn. Here they come down the straightaway. These guys are quick. Crossing the line first, Christopher Fuel, 35 even. Cooper Eamon in at 35.26. I'll have personal bests and season's bests. Two more pairings left in the men's 500 meters. As the skaters enter into the starter area, let me introduce them. In the inside lane from Quebec, Laurent Dubrial. And in the outer lane from Alberta, Gilmore Junio. Okay, here we go. Who started a lot like Will Dutton, who studied starts of Coach of Manitoba, clocks in at a 9:52, the fastest so far this afternoon. Laurent Dubrial in at 9:57. 9:52, 9:57, top 2 times. Here they come down the straightaway. These guys are quick. And crossing first is Laurent Dubrial at 34.12, who caught Junio, who finished his race at 34.59. Ladies and gentlemen, those are the top 2 times to beat. In the 10th and final pairing of the 500-meter men's race, in the inside lane from British Columbia, Jacob Graham. And in the outer lane from Quebec, Alex Boisvert-Lacroix. First 100-meter times, Alex Boisvert-Lacroix at 9.67, Jacob Graham at 9.89. The times to beat are Junio and Dubrial from Alberta and Quebec, respectively. This is the final race of the 10 pairing of the 500-meter men's, crowning the men's 1, 2, and 3 fastest times in Canada. Crossing the line first is Boisvert-Lacroix in at 35.01 for the 5th position. Graham in at 35.73 for the 13th position. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the 500 meters with only the top 20 times and the senior and the neo-senior that qualify, these go quickly. Laurent Dubrial takes the top spot at 34.12. Gilmore Junio in at the second place at 34.59. Cedric Brunet, who blew his personal best away by a long shot in the 3rd position. Fiola in 4th. Boisvert-Lacroix in 5th. And that's all I'll report for now. So we're going to have a ice resurfacing, and then we're going to do a medal presentation. But let me just tell you what's at stake here right now. These skaters aren't just interested in going fast for the sake of going fast. They want to maintain their position or make the national team or the next gen team for this season, but it also gives a selection who will represent Canada on the World Cup circuit. There are 4 World Cups between now and Christmas time, and Thomas Poland, Stavanger, Norway, First, Calgary, Alberta, the Olympic Oval, the second week of December. The qualifying times for the World Cup for the men's is 35.70, 35.7. That's for the seniors. Those are ages 24 and up. But there are neo-seniors that are racing. They're 4 years after junior. So you have the junior from ages 16 to 19, and then 20 to 23 is what they refer to as the neo-senior. And, for example, Cedric Brunet, his time, unofficially, probably qualifies for the World Cup, even though he's a neo-senior and younger than some of the senior skaters. So I'm not part of the selection process. There's a whole process around it, but you've got senior, neo-senior, and junior. There are no juniors in the men's, but there were 2 juniors in the women's. So what's up for grabs? Laying down the gauntlet. They want to participate in the World Cups. They want to be on. And then this is an Olympic year here in Beijing from 5th to 19th of February. I'll talk more about that as the week goes on. But laying down the gauntlet today, saying, look, I'm here to stay. I want to be on the teams. I want to be at the World Cup. And in Quebec, that's where they're going to have the skate off for those who are Olympic hopefuls. Coming up, ladies and gentlemen, is the medal presentation for the 3 fastest 500-meter men's skaters in Canada. Moika Stoffel, the international referee assigned to the competition, will be handing out the medal presentation. Let's let the ice resurfacing do their thing, and then after that, the 3,000-meter women's races coming up.
I got here and right away there was this belief in me that I didn't expect. I knew that if I did everything perfect, I was going to win that race. And then I just did it. It's unbelievable, you're Olympic champion. I always believed that I could do it and that I could be a champion. When I was 27, I decided to go on a new adventure. My dad was born in Canada. So I booked the ticket and just went for it and went all in. Yeah, it worked out really well. I'm really happy. I knew I was gonna like it here.
Yeah, we met each other on Tinder. It's actually our wedding invitation. Is that your actual conversation?
When I first moved here, it was just me, and I actually almost a year later she moved here too. I felt really at home here. I've always been feeling really comfortable in Calgary, and we've been really happy here. It felt like a home really quickly. If I feel good at home and if I feel good personally, then I'm gonna skate fast. For me, it's all the same. I think it's really important for a coach to spend time with the athletes and getting to know them. And I think Bart has done an exceptional job at trying to figure out what I need and how I would get better. Because I am a little bit different, and I think you need to be a little bit different to be a race winner, right? If you do everything like everybody else, you're not gonna be better than everybody else. And I think Bart has done an exceptional job in understanding that and being the right coach for me. I always believed with like all my heart that I could do something really special on the ice, like as a speed skater. I feel like the Canadian team really made me into this champion. It makes me really proud.
All right, the ice resurfacing continues. It's 5:12. We'll be starting the women's 3,000 meters. There'll be 6 pairings, and we'll be starting at 5:30 sharp, unless I'm told differently. And I'm also to make an announcement to officials that if you want something to eat up in the timing booth, you've earned it. So come on upstairs and before we continue. Okay, we're going to do the medal presentation for the men's 500 meters at the Canadian Long Track Championships, and it's going to be presented by Moika Stoffel, who's the men's referee, and she's an international referee assigned to this competition. So, I believe I have this right, from Quebec in the 3rd place, but must be as proud as can be, blowing his personal best away by a long shot with a time of 34.97, 34.9. Brunet. Third fastest time, 2021. Congratulations, Cedric. The second fastest time, we all know him here, with a time of 34:59. Give it up for Gilmore Jr. And the fastest time in all of Canada in the 500 meters at the Canadian Long Track Championships with a time of 34.12 from Quebec, Laurent Debrial. As I mentioned, Moika Stoffel will be handing out the medals. And I think, so smile, enjoy the memories, and what a great start to your meet. Big round of applause for these 3 gentlemen. Congratulations. Well done. It's your moment. Okay, it's 5:17. In 13 minutes, we're going to start the women's 3,000 meters. We have 6 pairings. That's 7.5 laps around if you're keeping track at home. I know those that are watching on YouTube, unfortunately, you don't have the sound. I'm playing some amazing music, so you're just going to have to imagine it in your mind. And I'm just going to keep it going here for us live in the bowl, or as they refer to it, the Olympic Oval. About 6 minutes, about 6 minutes to race time. 3,000 meter women's, 6 pairings, 7.5 laps around a 400 meter oval. Just a couple things I want to share with you, whether you're live or you're also listening on YouTube. Just what's at stake here. 5-day journey. This is Wednesday, October 13th, and we go right to October 17th, and we have 2 basically speed skating meets meshed together. Right now you're watching the Canadian Long Track Speed Skating Championships here in Calgary, Alberta at the Olympic Oval, and the first 2 days are dedicated to this event, and then some of the races will be embedded in the next meet that's squashed together called the Oval International, and so that'll be Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and there'll be more skaters than just the top 20 qualifying times for the various races. But what's at stake is these skaters not only want to go fast, but they also want to maintain their standing on the national team or make the national team or the next gen team for this 21-22 season. It's been a long time since we've been seeing some skating now, and speed skating with COVID and the vaccines out, skating around the world. Just check out speedskatingresults.com, and every weekend you'll see many speed skating meets around the world. But these skaters in the Long Track Championships, they want to qualify to compete on the World Cup circuit. And there are 4. There's one in Poland, one in Norway, and then back in North America in Salt Lake and in Canada between now and Christmas. And so all the distances will be covered, and then it's an Olympic year, as you know, and the Beijing Olympics will be 5th to the 19th in February, and speed skating, believe it or not, goes for the entire 2 weeks of the Olympics, the entire 2 weeks, and it'll be at the National Speed Skating Oval in Beijing, or what's going to become known as the Ice Ribbon. The Ice Ribbon. That'll be hosting 14 events, 7 for the men and 7 for an equal amount of men and an equal amount of women skaters for Beijing. And the qualifying times for that will be in Quebec right after Christmas, and that'll be the Olympic skate-off for those Olympic hopefuls representing our country in the upcoming Winter Olympics. But bringing us back to the Olympic Oval, we're 4 minutes away from the, less than that now, from the 3,000 meters. When you notice when they run meets around here, it's clockwork, just like, I was going to say like in airlines, but sometimes planes are late, so that's not great. But it is clockwork around here for as long as I've been around. And behind the scenes, there are a number of people that make this event go. Meet coordinator Greg Plenner, legendary Greg Plenner, who's been in speed skating all his life, runs a very smooth and quarterbacks a very smooth meet. From the athletes, showcase how fast they can go, but behind the scenes, there's a lot that goes on up here at the timing deck and in and around the ice. So meet coordinator, big shout out to Greg Plenner. You've got referees. There's 7 of them. Rick Hunt is the chief referee, and then there's 6 others that are scattered throughout the race, watching the skaters very closely to make sure that they're staying in their lanes, there's no impediment, that everybody's playing by the rules, and they all do, but things happen. And but a big shout out to Moika Stoffel, Travis Boyd, who's off to the Olympics representing Canada, Dave Thompson, Mark McGee, Rona Hathaway, and Werner Meyer. And then we have starters. We have 3 chief starters. Mark Poulin, he is starting the men. The women, Kim Fraunberger, and then assisting those, necessary if need be, is Brad Bates. Up here in the timing deck, we got John Little, IT specialist. And then we've got 2 medics, 1 in each corner, and you don't want the medics to go to work at all, but we got Noah Vespa and Avanish Badoni, and they're from Can West Medical. Can West Medical. We hope they have nothing to do for the next 5 days. But this is a sport built on speed, and so anything can happen. Safety is of utmost importance. It's 5:29 with a minute to go to start. Once I see them on my screen, I'll introduce the first of 6 pairings. I hear a whistle. Okay, allow me to introduce the first pairing of 6. The 3,000 meter women's race in the inside lane from Quebec, Rose. Outer lane from Alberta, Abby Young. Okay, and we're off. Okay, so 7.5 laps. Now 7 laps to go. It's 200 meters in, and let's just check their times. Abby Young's time is 21:41 with Rosanne Grenier in at 21:53. Now they're going to settle in for this mini marathon. Makes up the 3,000 meters. The times should come in the 4:20 to 4:30 range. Rosanne Grenier has a season's best of around 4:23. And I don't happen to have Abby's in front of me, but we're going to be probably looking in that kind of time frame. So it's very different than the 500 meter race, where that's a full-on sprint. This is not. This is where they'll settle in, and the coaches and the skaters will keep track of their lap time. And you can see them on the screen in the far, let's see, I don't know if that's the northwest corner. So they're looking at clocking lap times at around 33:33. These racers look very even at this point. They're 1,000 meters into their race, and their times are virtually identical. See if I can put a little music on for those at the Oval. Those watching YouTube, you won't be able to hear it. Welcome, by the way, if you're watching in the confinement of your comfortable home, wherever you might be. Rosanne Grenier and Abby Young are the 2 skaters, the first of 6 pairings in the 3,000 meter women's race, 1,800 meters in. Their lap time is around just in the 34 range. What you want to do as a racer is you want to keep your lap times to a minimum in terms of rising them. You want to quick, but you don't want to go out too slow. And this is the training and the strategy around it, and it's knowing yourself as a skater. So the qualifying time for the 3,000 meters at the World Cup will be 4 minutes 19 seconds. But a Neo Senior time would be 4:45, and both Rosanne Grenier and Abby Young are Neo Seniors, which means they're between the ages of 19 and 23. Their times, qualifying times, Rosanne Grenier was in at 4:23.17, and Abby was in at 4:24.59. So the whole idea behind these skaters is obviously they're competing against the clock, but what you want to see is each of them push each other. This is about when the race starts to get very difficult, and now that is the bell lap. The lane that they started in will be the lane that they finish in. Roseanne Grenier leading the charge here with a 3-minute 45-second 2,600 meter, but she's going to round the third and final turn. Here we go down. She's going to come down the straightaway. She's going to cross the line first, and let's see how this compares to one of her earlier times. What she wants to do is gut it out to get the best time possible, and here comes Roseanne Grenier crossing the line at a time of 4:21.74. That's a qualifying time, as is Abby Young's at 4:25.61. I don't know where it stacks up in terms of personal best or season's best. Good race, ladies. These skaters would be exhausted. 7.5 laps around. All right. I see the two skaters now in pairing number 2 getting to the start line, so let me introduce them. In the inside lane from Quebec, Gabrielle. Outer lane, also from Quebec, Ophélie Junot. Okay, we're off and running in the second pairing. If you've just joined us, this is the second of 6 pairings in the women's 3,000 meter Canadian Long Track Championships. Gabrielle Jolinek and Ophélie Junot, Battle of Quebec. Jolinek has a first 200 meter opening time. Top spot so far, Junot in at 22:03. They're going to settle in here now for the remaining 7 laps. These two are also neo seniors. What that means in speed skating language is that they are between the ages of 19 and 23. They're out of junior, but they're not yet a senior age, which is 24 and up. We should expect their times to come in similar to Abby Young's and Roseanne Grenier's. By the way, Roseanne Grenier, I believe, achieved a personal best from what I can tell, and I think the same with Abby Young. But that has to be double checked. But both had very fast times relative to the qualifying times. And they need 4:45 to qualify for World Cup. Obviously, it's the top times based on how many spots are available. But these girls, these women raced a fast race. We're 1,000 meters into this 3,000 meter race, which is 7.5 track. Gabrielle Jelinek has posted some lower times than Ophélie Junot. That's probably how it should stack up, and that's how it's racing out before our very eyes. But every racer races within their own level of development, and it's not about whether you win or lose. It's about getting better each and every time. In fact, there's a quote by Bonnie Blair, and she says, quote, "Winning doesn't always mean coming first. It means doing better than you did before." End of quote. That's from the legendary Bonnie Blair. This has a YouTube feed from Calgary to all over the world, to anybody who's interested in those that are racing here at the Canadian Long Track Championships. They could be anywhere. A lot of family, a lot of friends. With COVID, you don't have packed stands, but you have more people here than you would normally have at a regular meet. We're 1,800 meters. Are already under the belt. You can see them if you're watching the YouTube feed. You can see them on the screen. Play a little music for them that we can hear inside the oval, but you can't hear on the YouTube feed, because if the YouTube police find out that we're playing music that we don't have permission to play, then they send you a letter. And I've had that happen before. So you know what? I don't need the letter. I don't need the letter. Okay, so down the straightaway. I think we're going to have a bell lap here. We got, there we go, Gabrielle Jelinek. Gabrielle Jelinek is now doing a lap time of about 35. Obviously, that's up from probably around 31-ish from when she started. But let's see how this time is going to stack up. And then as well. So this is probably this is how it's gonna play out if all goes according to plan. Gabrielle Jelinek gutting it out in the straightaway. Her legs are burning, lungs are got good capacity, and here she crosses the line at a time of 4:16. I'm going to go on record unofficially to say that she took her PB and knocked it out of the park. There's some fast times here. The ice is fast, and I'm going to speak more about the ice and how it's been made fast a little later, but here comes Juno, and she crosses the line at a 4:32.55. The time to beat, Gabrielle Jelinek, 3,000 meters at 4:16.10. Coming up is the third pairing, which are ready to go. In the inside lane from Alberta, Laura Hall. And in the outer lane from Manitoba, Alexa. Okay, here we go. The outer lane that starts Alexa Scott, inside lane Laura Hall. And the lane they start in will be the lane they finish in. Battle of Alberta versus Manitoba. Alexa Scott is a neo senior, but has senior qualifying times, which is an accomplishment in itself. Is a junior who is 19 years of age, has not yet moved into the neo-senior category, and also has senior qualifying times. Now, both of these women are up against some formidable competition as the pairings continue, but quite an accomplishment in their own right at their age. We are looking at, I would say, the future of women's speed skating right here. These two skaters, as they move up the ranks as their career unfolds. So we've got Laura Hall and we got Alexa Scott. As long as the 3,000 meters, the thing to look at is not necessarily the split times, but the lap times. Where they start at, how long can they hold them at these low paces. But the reality is that the more you skate, the more tired you get, and the lap times increase. And this is a test of both fitness and technique. And the fitter you are, the longer you can hold your technique, the faster you can go longer. And oftentimes you'll see a speed skater that doesn't look like they're exerting much effort, and they'll end up with personal bests or world record times, and that's because their technique is so perfect. As much as fitness plays an important part, technique for these skaters, especially when you're trying to keep a quick pace with these two particular skaters. All right, we're 2,200 meters in. I was talking earlier about what makes fast ice. Why is this some of the fastest ice in the world? And world records have been broken here, made and broken, and PBs. I mentioned the people. Well, you know what? I'll talk about this later. We got a lap time, and crossing to start the last 400 meters is Alexa Scott with a lap time of 34:34, but she's at 3:37:14. Going down the straightaway, it's always helpful to get benefit from the draft of the other skaters. We've got Alexa Scott setting the pace here, and here she comes. Crossing the line first will be Alexa Scott at 4:12:26. 4:12:26. And that, I wouldn't be surprised if that's a PB for her, as Laura Hall as well at 4:13:86. Those are very good times, ladies. Alexa and Laura, congratulations. They'll be incredibly tired at this point in time. Okay, we're at the halfway point of the women's 3,000 meters. This is the fourth pairing. Let's say hello to the inside lane from Manitoba, Lindsay Kent. And in the outer lane from Saskatchewan, Kelly Christ. All right, they just crossed over in front of me, and their split times for the 200 meters is 20.45 and 20.38. Second and third best of all the pairings so far. But now they go into lap times. They go into counting the laps, rather the time it takes to go one full 400 meters. The coaches are going to keep track. They're going to communicate to the racers, because when you're racing, or as the they don't hear a thing. They're going to hear just a bunch of noise from me, and hopefully it's clear from the speakers. You can hear me talking. But they got their lap times just over 31 seconds. Now let's see what happens for the remaining 6 laps. Now, when I have a longer race like this, I usually like to talk about a couple things, and I was starting the process of telling you why Calgary is the fastest, or some of the fastest ice in the world. It's hard to believe, actually, that they just made the first indoor oval in 1985. What is that, 6 years ago? Since then, 38 ovals, permanent ovals, have been constructed around the world. There's now a third one in Canada. There is one in Fort St. John. There's one, obviously, here in Calgary, and then Quebec just opened up their indoor oval. And so but where I was going with this is what makes fast ice? Well, first of all, the Ice Meisters. The Ice Meisters in Calgary are world renowned. But to make fast ice, not everybody can do it. So what they do, it's a step-by-step process. They cool the concrete pad. Imagine there's no ice on the concrete pad. They cool that to -7. And then they put some organic compound that creates an antifreeze formation. They call it glycol. They put it through the pipes that's embedded in the concrete, so you can't see that. Then they apply 3 coats of demineralized water, not tap water. Okay, lap times right now are in the 33 range, so you see they've come up a second and a bit. But the Ice Meisters apply 3 light coats of demineralized water, and they spray it on the pad, and it freezes instantly. Then the ice. If we did it and we didn't paint it, it wouldn't look white. But the ice looks incredibly white, not white like my teeth, because my teeth aren't that white. But they're white, and what they do is they spray the ice surface with 5 immediately. Then they apply dots and lines and logos like sponsors, like Intac Insurance, I believe I mentioned, was the main insurance, primary insurance of the championships. Give them business when you can. And they have lanes. And then what they do is they apply water to seal the paint to prevent it from coming to the surface, so the skaters aren't skating on white paint. And then they seal the surface. The ice surface is about 2.5 to 3 centimeters thick. The entire 400 meters. So it's not your local community center rink where it might be thick in the middle and there's no ice in the corners. There we go. There's the lap time for both these skaters. We've got a good race going here, ladies and gentlemen. Lap times have come up in about the 35 range. But these skaters are seniors, and the times for them to beat are their own, basically. And I'll talk more about the ice later. So down the straightaway they go. Their legs are hurting. Their lungs are full. Lindsay and Callie, both their times are in around a 4:11. So let's see how they're gutting it out and pushing each other for the best possible time that they can. There's a lot at stake here. Crossing the line first is Callie Christ at 4:13.15 and Lindsay Cannon at 4:13.52. Very close. Indeed, I don't believe PBs, but yet an excellent race at the same time. Congratulations, ladies. Okay, it looks like the fifth pairing is ready to go. In the inside lane from British Columbia, Abigail McCluskey. And in the outer lane from Ontario, Isabel Weideman. Okay, we're off and running. The 200-meter split times for Abigail McCluskey is at 20.61, Isabel Weideman at 20.28. What you're witnessing right now are two prolific female speed skaters that have represented Canada on the world circuit, Isabel Weideman and Abigail McCluskey. We could see some sub-4 times here in the 3,000 meters. It's quite possible with these two skaters. The ice is fast. The weather actually has something to do with it, not necessarily get the time, and the ice, of course, to make it as fast as possible, but sometimes the weather circumstances, when you have a low-pressure system, sometimes that you'll find times a little faster, especially in higher elevation locations like Alberta. So if you're paying attention to the split times or you're keeping track at home, Isabel Weideman's split time is 30:45. Most have been around 31 or higher at this point in the race and starting to climb. Let's see how long that she's able to hold these particular times. Obviously, they're going to creep up because she's human, as they all are. But it's a 7.5 lap race, and they're over 1,000 meters into the race. They're being cheered on by family, and they're being cheered on by friends. Isabel Weideman's lap time is 30:39, so she's holding in there well. We're about 400 meters in, or 1,400 meters in, actually 1,800 meters in. So we've got Isabel Weideman at 30.69. So her lap time is holding under 31, which is incredible. You can see the lap time up on the scoreboard in the northwest portion of the oval. And Abigail McCluskey's time, lap time, is 32:85. So Isabel Weideman is in a commanding lead between these these two pairings. We'll find out how it matches up against her time that she's looking to beat. Let's see if I can find some music. This seems to be a popular song. I'll just keep it in the background. Okay, Isabelle's lap time now has moved up over the 31, but you could expect that. But she keeps her lap times very close, and there is the Bell lap. Less than 400 meters to go for Isabelle Weideman. Here comes McCluskey's lap time, or Bell lap, I should say. There's a 3-second difference between the two, and that makes a big difference over 7.5 laps. Let's see if we see a sub-4 time from Isabelle Weideman as she rounds the final turn. Give her a big hand as she comes down the straightaway, gutting it out. 3,000-meter race women. She's crossing the line at a time of 3:56.89. 3:56.89. I'll go on record as saying that's a PB. Here comes McCluskey, gutting it out down the straightaway. The tip of her skate's going to cross the line at a time of 4:10.91. Congratulations. Not an easy race, ladies and gentlemen, 3,000-meter women's race. Okay, we are in the 6th and final pairing of the 3,000-meter women at the Canadian Long Track Championships. In the inside lane from Ontario, say hello to Yvonne Blondin. And in the outer lane from Quebec, Valerie Malte. Okay, as you would expect in the final pairing, the two fastest times for the opening 200 meters, Yvonne Blondin in at 19.58. That's the fastest 200 meters of the 12 skaters. Valerie Malte very close behind at 19.76. Two talented skaters that has represented us on the world circuit. And I fully expect to see some possible sub-4 times to challenge Isabelle Weideman for the fastest time for the 3,000-meter women's race. And so the lap times to start are just over 30 seconds. So they're quick for both Valerie and Yvonne. So I'm going to throw on some music and talk a little bit over that. Everybody likes ABBA. If you notice on the straightaway when they cross over to switch lanes, you might find them in single file because the skater behind wants to catch the draft of the skater in front, because when you're skating 7.5 laps and you want to keep your lap time down, getting rid of that bit of resistance for that 100 meters or so makes a huge difference. And so we've got some tight lap times here. Valerie Malte in at 30.6 and Yvonne Blondin at 31.06. And you can see them up on the board in the northwest corner if you're keeping track. That is an important time measure on races of this length. But speed skaters who are so neck and neck through this race right now. We're 1,800 meters into the race and their lap times are fairly close. Yvonne has actually had a higher lap time moment ago than Malte, but now she's switched that. that means that she's turning it up a little bit as the race goes on. Not an easy thing to do with this many laps. Now we're 2,200 meters in with 2 laps to go. These skaters will be looking to compete for represent our country at the Olympics. So you're seeing Olympic hopefuls right here before your very eyes at the Calgary Oval. Here we are at the Canadian Long Track Championships. And there is the bell lap. Their lap times have moved up. And perhaps they might have turned it up a little too early in the race. We're going to find out. We'll only know once they cross the line with less than 200 meters to go. And this is where they're giving it all they got. And crossing the finish line first is Evanie Blondin with a time of 3:59.99. 3:59.99, sub 4. And Valerie Malte in at 4:01.24. That may be a PB for Malte. So 2 sub 4s. And then after that, 4 and over. Congratulations, Evanie and Valerie and the rest of the women. So Isabel Weideman will take first place with a time of 3:56.89. Second at 3:59.99. Valerie Malte will take the third place at 4:01.23. Unofficially, I'm saying. I'm not going on record and signing off over the microphone that these are officials until the referees get in and sign it off. I believe we're going to have an ice resurfacing, and we're going to come back at 6:30, but we will be doing a medal presentation. And Rona Hathaway will be giving out the medals to Isabel Weideman, Evanie Blondin, and Valerie Malte. Congratulations, ladies. We'll be back up here at 6:30. I'm going to throw some music on. We're good to do the medal presentation. Give me a thumbs up. It's we got Rona Hathaway. Rona, you're down there, yes? Can you hear me, Rona? I can't tell. I'll just trust it. Okay, perfect. We're about to crown the three fastest female 3,000 meter skaters in the Canadian Long Track Championships. I want to give a shout out first to 4 skaters in these 6 pairings that achieved a personal best, because that's what it's all about, getting better each and every time. So Roseanne Grenier, Gabrielle Jelinek, Laura Hall, and Alexis Scott, all personal best. Congratulations, you 4. Give it up for those 4. All right. Marie is going to give out the medals to the top 3. The 3rd fastest time in the 3,000 meters from Quebec with a time of 4:01.23, 1/10 of a second off her personal best. Sorry about that, Valerie Malte, but Valerie Malte. Great effort. Of the 12 skaters, 2 of them went sub 4, the 2nd fastest time from Ontario, who's represented us on a world circuit with a time of 3:59.99, Yvonne Blondin. And also representing us on the world circuit with the fastest time, the crowning achievement, the top fastest time for the 3,000 meter women from Ontario with a time of 3:56.89. Say hello to Isabel Weideman. There you go. Canada's fastest 3,000 meter female skaters. Congratulations. Smile for the camera. That is cute. Teamwork. Friends and competitors making each other better all the time. Hang on to the memories. If you can see the lens can see you. A great picture. Isabel, Ivani, and Valerie, congratulations once again. Have a great rest of the meet. It's 6:16, and you know what's next? The men's 5,000 meters, 4 pairings, 8 skaters, some world record holders, some former world record holders, the future of Canada's long distance skaters, all wrapped in to the 4 pairings. You thought the 500 meters was exciting. Watch the next 5,000. It's 6:27. We're going to start racing at 6:30. 3-minute warning and then a 2-minute warning. It's 6:28. 2-minute warning. 2-minute warning for the officials, because coming up in momentarily is the 5,000 meter men's race in the Canadian Long Track Championships. There is 4 pairings, which means there are 8 skaters. And this is 12 and a half laps around the 400 meter oval if you're keeping track at home. As soon as I start to see a live feed and the skaters are in position, I will introduce the first pairing. I hear a whistle. I'll do the introductions. In the first pairing of the 5,000 meter men's in the Canadian Long Track Championship, from Alberta, Joshua Hathaway. And in the outer lane, from Ontario, Hayden Mailleux. Okay, we're off and running. The first of 4 pairings. We've got Joshua Hathaway representing Alberta and Ontario. Their opening 200 meter time is 20.19 for Hathaway and 19.76 for Mailleux. I'm just checking on speedskatingresults.com as to determine what their PBs are and what we can expect for a time from these 2 skaters. I don't think these skaters they're any stranger to a 5,000 meter distances. But I think we're going to be seeing around 6.5 minutes approximately. Joshua Hathaway at a 6:38 time, a 6:38 personal best in January of 2020. You remember that time period, don't you, when there was no pandemic on the planet Earth? And that's about the last time most of these racers have raced. It's been a long time. So in a lot of cases, these racers are just getting the rust out. And then with Hayden Mailleux, PB of 6:26.01. And that was in March of 2019. And that was right here in Calgary as well. So both their PBs were here in Calgary. Now they're settling in. The thing to watch is their lap time. So their lap time is just under the 31, makes a difference, 30.74 for Mailleux and Hathaway at 30.97. Sometimes you'll see it fluctuate. Ideally, you want it to go up, but slow. And sometimes you might see it jump up and then come right back down because the skater, in communication with his coach, realizes he's going too slow. He needs to pick up the pace. But what you want to do is make sure you keep the gap and split in time between your first lap and in this case the 12th lap, because it's 12 and a half laps. So we're only 1,800 meters into this race, and their lap times are in the 31 range. So it started below 31. Let's take a look across the line. So we're looking at about a Hathaway for a PB would be a 6:38, and Mailleux would be around a 6:26. And let's see how this shapes up. I think it's time to give these gentlemen some music, as well as you in the stands. If you're watching at home, I'm sorry, but we don't have permission to play music, so you just have to hear my voice. So let's get some music on that hopefully the guys like. They can't hear anything, by the way. They can't hear my voice. They won't hear the music. The only thing they hear is the coach's voice. I can talk all I want. There'll be no distraction. They're so into their race. So here's some music for some of the race. You keeping an eye on their lap time? Mailleux's lap time is 31:16. Hathaway in at 31, almost 32. I know it's quiet at home when I'm not speaking because it doesn't get on the feed. This is the first pairing of the 5,000 meters race, 12 and a half laps and around a 400-meter oval. Just in case you've just joined us on the YouTube feed, we're at the Canadian Long Track Championships, sponsored by our premium sponsor, Intact Insurance. We're going to be 4,200 meters into the race here very shortly. So keep an eye on the lap times. They're not moving up that much, but a big a half second can make a significant difference. 3,800 meters in with 3 laps to go. These skaters are in absolutely amazing shape, amazing physical condition to hold this kind of pace for 12 and a half laps and to hold their technique. It looks very comfortable out there. Fitness is absolutely necessary. Here we go. Mailleux's lap time at the bell lap is 32:83. It's only gone up maybe a second and a half. There's Hathaway in for his bell lap, and so we're going to finish off the race here very shortly. 6:38 Hathaway for his best time, and 6:26 for Mailleux as he rounds the final turn down the straightaway, gutting it out. Give him a big hand coming in after 12 laps. He's going to cross the line, and he's going to do so in a time of 6:37.39. 6:37.39, and Joshua Hathaway will cross the line at 6:43.59. 56. Not near their personal best, but keep in mind they haven't been racing for over a year and a half as the season goes on. I can see on the screen now the second pairing is up and ready to go, so let me introduce them. In the inside lane from Alberta, Jack Dybert. And in the outer lane from Ontario, Matthew Laxton. Okay, here we go. The 200-meter split time is 19.14 for Laxton, 19.14 for Jack Dybert, 1 and 2. And now off they go for the remaining 12 laps. And let's see where their lap time ends up. Obviously, it's going to be over 30, but probably under 31. The key, as you know, is to keep those lap times tight. So where are we? So Dybert at a very fast lap time of 30.05. Laxton at 31.2. Almost a second, more than a second apart. And it may not look too far apart while they skate right now, but with 10 laps to go, that gap will widen dramatically if that particular time gap stays in effect. So let's see what Laxton's going to do here on his time. He's 31.88, and Dybert's in at 31.06. Quicker lap time than Laxton. Okay, so Dybert is keeping his lap time under 31. Laxton's at 31.87. So at this point in the race, Dybert's able to keep his lap time about a second under probably Mayers. So he's ranking first. Laxton is 2.5 seconds off the pace. Dybert turned up the heat on that lap because his lap time went down. He went to 30.43. So he must be thinking about making a move here of some sort, or he and his coach have something going. So Dybert's up to something because his lap time is at 30.45. It's coming down. It's not going up. Now remember, what's at stake here? Staying on the national team, competing for the World Cups, getting ready to qualify for the Olympics in Quebec City. It's all part of a larger mosaic at play here for these skaters over a long season, over their careers that they sit and map out with their coaches. Dybert's looking really quite strong. And let's see how he makes out here. The lap time of 30.34. So Dybert's in at 30.34, Laxton in at 31.77. Yeah, Dybert's up to something. His times are going down. That's usually the other way around. He's looking very strong, holding his technique. I should put on some music for these guys. Okay, after 3,000 meters, Jack Dybert's time is holding in at 30.43. 30.80. So he's still holding under 31 seconds, which is 4 seconds better than the previous skater Hayden Mayer, who set the opening pace. The yelling you hear is coaches. Okay, Dybert's time is in the split of 31.93, so their lap times, his has moved up, but still almost 4 seconds off. Hayden Mayer's. Laxton's about 7 seconds off the pace, but his lap time seems to now be plateauing. And so now we're going to be 2 laps to go here for Dybert. This is a 12.5 lap race for 5,000 meters. In case you've just joined us on the YouTube 4 pairings. Remember, these are the fastest long track speed skaters in Canada, vying for a crowning achievement for each of the distances. And there, if you can hear it on the YouTube, and we can certainly hear it in the bowl, Jack Dybert's bell lap. His lap is now up to 34.14. That's to be expected. Laxton's bell lap. So what we're looking for, Jack Dybert's personal best is just over 6:35. Matthew Laxton's in at 6:43. Let's see how they make out. Here comes Dybert in the final stretch. He must be absolutely exhausted. Who wouldn't be after 12.5 laps? Gutting it out. Give him the cheer all the way to the finish line. Jack Dybert's going to cross the finish line at 6:38.02, 6:38.02, 3 seconds off his PB, but a great race nonetheless. And here comes Matthew Laxton at 6:47. 35, about 4 seconds off his PB, but also a great race. Congratulations, gentlemen. The whistle has sounded. The skaters are heading to the start line. Let me introduce them. In the third and second last pairing of the 5,000 meter in the long track championships in the men's category, in the inside lane, from Alberta, say hello to Caleb Mueller. And in the outer lane, from Ontario, welcome Jordan Belchos. And we're off. Jordan Belchos opening 200 meters at 19:05. Caleb Mueller in at a time of 19.22. That's the fastest opening 200 meters by Belchos. We're expecting a fast time from him. His personal best is just over 6 minutes and 12 seconds. Caleb Mueller in at 6:24, just over 6 minutes and 24 seconds. Right now they look fairly close. Now we're going to check out their lap times. Now this is the first grouping that's at a lap time under 30. Opening pace is quite strong with 11 laps to go. So you know what I've been talking about. The key is to keep those lap times as low as possible for as long as possible. You don't want to have too slow of a lap time and too quick of a lap time. You have to have a strategy going into the race. It's about pacing yourself. One of the things Clara Hughes was good at was doing that, but actually she did it in reverse. She lowered her times the longer the race. She got stronger as the race went on, but that's rare for most athletes. Usually it's standard to get more tired as they go throughout the race, and 12 and a half laps. Just walking my dog around the block gets me tired. I just break it into a sweat watching these guys compete at an elite level. These are amazing athletes. So we're looking at some times here around 6:24-ish by Mueller, and Belchos coming in around 6:12. That's at least their PB, so I'm going to throw some music on for these guys. I think that's only a cool thing to do for them. Are you noticing the lap times? Belchos is still holding his under 30 seconds. Let's see how long he can hold that. He's almost 7 seconds off the pace set by Dybert. So Jordan Belcho's lap time is at 29:83. He hasn't broken 30 yet. That's remarkable. And these skaters are prolific at this level. They hardly look like they're working that hard, but they've trained many years to master their technique, and then you layer in the fitness, and they're able to hold this technique longer. Belcho's time after 3,000 meters is still under 30 seconds. That's incredible. He's 9 seconds off the previous skater. That would be who set the pace, Dybert. So this is the first. There are two in this race in terms of lap times and time period. Less than 2,000 meters to go in a 5,000 meter race. If you've just joined us on YouTube or apparently Facebook, I'm told, but that can be confirmed. You're watching the 5,000 meter Canadian Long Track Championships men's category. This is a third of 4 pairings and day 1 of a 5-day meet. The Canadian Long Track Championships enmeshed and commingled with Oval International. 2 separate meets over 5 days, taking us right to Sunday. Boy, is it good to be back speed skating after a year and a half off, unless a few were fortunate enough to be in the bubble in Europe. Now Belcho's lap time has moved up over 30 seconds, but it only took about 8 or 9 laps to get there. It just shows the level of conditioning he is in, as well as Mueller and all these other skaters to hold these lap times so consistent. It takes years to build a speed skater, to shape a speed skater in fitness. They train in blocks, in short blocks, long blocks, over many, many years. And they layer it in, and then of course, they look to have peak performances in their career. So we should be coming up to a bell lap here, and we are. Here we go. Jordan Belchos is leading the charge in this 2-skater race between Caleb Mueller and Jordan Belchos. Let's see how he finishes off. He has a personal best of 6:12.07. Final 2 turns as he heads to the straightaway. Let's give him a big round of enthusiastic applause while he guts it out. 12 and a half laps, 5 flying at a time of 6:18.94. 6:18.94 for Jordan Belchos. Bueller guts it out and finishes off his race at a time of 6:29.44. Both off their PBs, but both very good races. Gentlemen, congratulations. After this next race, we'll have one more race, a solo 500-meter race. Frank Roth will race the 500 meters, in which he fell during the 500-meter race, but it'll be mostly for ranking as opposed to time. The final pairing number 4, world record holders, former world record holders, talented skaters, and represented our country in the inside lane from Alberta, Ted Jan Bloemen. And in the outer lane from Saskatchewan, Graham Fish. You're watching Hall of Famer skaters right now before your very eyes, ladies and gentlemen. Let's look at their opening 200 meters. Ted Jan Bloemen at 18.67 for the fastest time, fastest 200-meter opener of this small grouping. Graham Fish at 19.37, about a third of the second off the pace, ranking 5th on his opening 200 meters. So this is going to be in lap times under 29 seconds, 28.28 for Ted Jan Bloemen and 28.82. 3 weeks ago, I was out here for the Fall Classic, calling these two gentlemen in the 10,000-meter race. And who would have thought a 10,000-meter race was going to be as exciting as what I called back then? And it was. Bloemen had Fish for the first 10 laps, then Fish took the next 10 or 11 laps, and then Ted Jan took it with the last 2 or 3 laps remaining, both of them giving it their all. They're both friends and competitors on and off the ice, making the best, bringing the best out in each of them. They're both extremely talented, incredibly fit, and a standard for other skaters who look to skate long distances like these two skaters. So let's take a look at their lap time. So Bloemen's lap time is well under 29 seconds, actually. It's 28.59. Graham a little higher the previous lap. I think he probably wants to bring that down a little bit and stay close to Ted throughout the race. But you're watching Canada's finest long track skaters before your very eyes, whether you're live in the oval, in this, or you're watching it on YouTube or Facebook. If I get a head nod, yes. Facebook, YouTube, CBC. That's the first I've mentioned them. So CBC is also streaming this as well. So you're getting a taste of potentially the Olympic qualifiers. The times. So Ted Jan Bloemen's personal best, which I believe would be a world record holder and a Canadian record holder, would be just over 6 minutes and 1 second. Minutes 6 seconds. So you would think by those times that that's how they would finish up the race. But let's see what happens. These two are fierce competitors. They know they're competing against the clock. So neither skater has broken 30 seconds for a lap time, and they are a good 7-8 laps into this 12.5 lap race. Ted Jan Bloemen is turning up the heat. His time for the lap time is coming down, not going up. Nothing would please Graham more for him to catch Ted, as Ted's an amazing skater, as is Graham. Graham set a world record at a very he has, and how many years ahead of him? He's still not yet in his peak performance state. So we are 3,400 meters into a 5,000 meter race. Ted's looking strong. 8 seconds off the pace set by Jordan Belchos. They're both 1 and 2 in terms of time. Ted Jan time is 29.3. Is it possible that they go around 12.5 laps with 30 or under lap time? This will be very interesting to see. Make no mistake about it, they know where each other is out there, but they also have their own race to race. Their job is to bring out the best in each other, because at the end of the day, you're competing against. Go. Ted Jan Bloemen's got a 29.37 lap time, 29.85 for Graham. Wouldn't it be cool if both of them PB'd? Yeah, the timing deck, everybody up in the timing deck agrees with me as well. Okay, we've got the bell lap for Ted Jan Bloemen. No time has he been under 30 seconds for a lap, and I don't expect that to be the final. I don't expect that to happen for the final lap. I expect him to gut it out as much as possible as he rounds the final turn and heads to the straightaway. And here he comes. Give him a big hand. Coming down the stretch, can he beat 6:01.86? 6:01.86, that's what we're looking for. 6:06.69, 6:06. And Graham Fish, 6:13.31, 6:13.31. Two current and future legends in the sport of long track speed skating. Congratulations, gentlemen. It's great to call a race like this. So how it ranks, Ted Jan Bloemen is going to take the first place, the fastest time at 6:06. Graham Fish is number 2 from Saskatchewan at 6:13, and Jordan Belchos will get the bronze medal or the third place finish medal at 6:18. We're going to have a medal presentation here shortly, but first we're going to have a re-race of a 500 meters. Big round of applause for Ted Jan Bloemen and Graham Fish. Congratulations, gentlemen. We're going to have a medal presentation for Ted Jan, Graham, and Jordan. We'll let you know when that is. Moika Stoll. And I think are we setting up for the 500 meters? There'll be a moment to set up. Will be a moment to set up the course for 500 meters. The reason we're doing this is Frank Roth unfortunately fell in his race and asked for a re-race, and my understanding is that it will help in the ranking. May not necessarily the time, but the ranking. So that's my understanding. Congratulations, Ted Jan and Graham. I could see you on the screen chatting. Way to go. Okay, we're just setting up right now for the 500 meters, this re-race for Frank Roth. It's 7:02. We're going to race, or 7:03 now. The clock just changed. Race at 7:05. 2-minute warning. Okay, we are about to start. I'm going to give you an introduction, Frank. So this is a re-skate, and in the inner lane, in this pairing, skating solo, would you please give it up? From Alberta, Frank Roth. All right, Frank's opening time is 10:03. Frank has a personal best of 35:10 on September 25th of this year. Let's bring him home. Here comes Frank rounding the turn on the straightaway. Giving it all. Can he beat his time at 35:10? He crosses the line at 35:85, off by 7/100ths of a second. 35:85, Frank Roth from tough to race by yourself, but he did a good time. And ladies and gentlemen, that's a wrap. It's 7:06 at the Calgary Olympic Oval. We do this all again tomorrow at 4 o'clock. It's a light day tomorrow, but we're going to do a medal presentation here. I shouldn't say that. We are going to do a medal presentation before we call it a wrap. I see Moika Stoffels down there. We just need 3 skaters. We're just awaiting official times for the 5,000, and when we have that, we can do the medal presentation. Just waiting for the official results to have them in my hand. We know the ranking, I just want to have the times. Okay, we're good to go for the medal presentation. So we have, well, one of the results that we're seeking in the Canadian Long Track Championships is to crown the fastest skaters in each of the distances. We've got the top three with the top, obviously one takes the fastest time. Watching these skaters is nothing short of amazing, not to mention their conditioning and their technique. Future Hall of Famers representing our country at the highest level. This is the 5,000 meter men's results, and taking the third position with a time of 6:18.94 from Ontario. Give it up for Jordan Belchos. I had an opportunity to meet this next gentleman with his roommates, giving him some food. It helps at the long term with a time of 6:13, an affable man from Saskatchewan, Graham Fish. And a tough competitor through and through. Current world record holder, Canadian record holder champion with a time of 6:06 in the 5,000 meter today, the fastest Canadian. Let's give it up for Ted Jan Bloman. Jordan, Graham, Ted Jan, congratulations. Moika Stoffel presenting you with the medals, who's an international referee assigned to the competition. Your competitors and friends, and way to show the way it's done. Congratulations. Now look good for the camera. Look good for the camera. Straight across the ice. If you can see the lens can see you. Give these guys a big round of applause. Not everybody can do 12 and a half laps, keeping their lap times 30 seconds or less. Fun to watch. Congratulations. Have the great rest of the meet, you guys. Jordan Belchos, Graham Fish, and Ted Jan Bloman. Now, ladies and gentlemen, that's a wrap. 7:13. Tonight is over. Day one is in the books. See you tomorrow at 4 p.m. or earlier for some more speed skating racing at the 2021 Canadian Long Track Championships.